Welcome to the Lessons from Your Hairstylist podcast, where we uncover and leverage your unique beauty and personal style. I'm your host, Sarah Cruz, a beauty industry educator and hairstylist with 30 years experience. This show is dedicated to providing you with insights and practical advice for living a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled life. Experience that special stylist-client bond right here as we dive into conversations with experts in beauty and wellness. Here, you'll gain valuable tips on personal style and self-care to empower your journey. Join me to unlock the secrets to living beautifully well while elevating your lifestyle, mind, body, and spirit. Your appointment is now, so have a seat and get ready for transformation. Well, hello and welcome to the Lessons from Your Hairstylist podcast. I'm your host and hairstylist friend, Sarah Cruz. So this is the second time that I am recording this episode. I recorded this same episode last week and the audio didn't turn out. I don't know if you've ever had a situation where you were relying on tech and you spent all this time and it didn't work out, and it is just like the most frustrating thing. I know you've had that happen. It's just, I had to vent that. I had to vent that because this is my second time recording this podcast episode, but that's okay. I'm glad that we are here together today. And you know, I've had a week. How has your week been? When my clients come into the salon, we talk about, you know, what's been going on with them, what's been going on with me, and it's kind of like that small talk thing, you know. And I know all of pretty much everybody's lives, what's going on, all the people in their lives, their families. And, you know, we catch up on the story from the last time. So that's what I feel like when I come on the podcast here. I feel like, you know, it's like I've got you back in my chair again for your next appointment from the last time that we were together, and you get the update and you get the scoop and all that stuff. It's like, I feel like this is kind of like what this podcast was really supposed to be about. And, you know, I'm just in the mood to keep this a little bit more informal today. You can see that I haven't made a lot of effort in the presentation department as far as hair and makeup goes today, but I've been spending some time at the pool. It's finally been nice out. We've been able to use the pool finally. It has been raining on and off. You're just so unpredictable here in Tennessee. Like, you don't know from one moment to the next if it's going to rain, what's happening. So I try to grab the sun when I can. And I've only in the last week or so been able to get some, which is why I'm kind of frustrated that I'm recording this again, because I could actually be catching the 10 minutes of sun that we have for this afternoon. But I'm so glad I'm here with you, and because I have something I wanted to talk about, something that I've been seeing on TikTok and Instagram here lately. It seems to be a trending thing in the salon, and I think it's got some people kind of upset. I think clients, you know, if you're on the hairstylist side of TikTok, you know, you're seeing hairstylists talk about this. You're also seeing clients complain about it. And I get it. You know, I get it. It's got to do with, of course, pricing again, right? Pricing. I know going to the salon is so expensive. It really is. It's a huge investment. It's a lot to keep your hair up. And things have changed very, very rapidly, you know, over the last few years. It's true. And I know that pricing has dramatically gone up, and it's hard to keep up, you know. But on top of this, we have the latest, where many of us out there working behind the chair are starting to charge for our blow dry services within a color service, or within, I mean, if you get a perm. Oh, yeah. I don't do perms really. I mean, I could. I'm probably one of the few hairdressers that can still do perms. There's a few people at our salon that do perms, but if you get a chemical service of any kind, I would say, or like a larger service besides just a haircut, then many of us in the industry are starting to charge for that service. And it's got some people kind of pissed off. And I understand. I do get it. The school of thought has been lately on the socials that I've been seeing from clients that are coming on and talking about this. They're saying, this is crazy. The blow dry should definitely be included in the cost of the service. My gosh, getting your hair done is so expensive already. And traditionally, it's always been included. So it seems like a big ask from the consumer's point of view for the stylist to not only be raising their prices so dramatically, it seems, but now also tacking on a blow dry charge. And it's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you people? Let's just calm down. I get it from the consumer's point of view. It's like, what's happening? Like, what is happening with these hairstylists? I get it. I think if I were on the outside looking in, I might think the same thing. But I did want to bring this up because coming from a hairstylist point of view, I wanted to talk about this subject and shed a little bit of light on it. Because as I've seen it come up over and over and over again on, these posts, both sides from hairstylists and also from clients, consumers, people are, it's really causing some anger. It seems like, it seems like it's got some people pretty bothered. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about where the blow dry charge is coming from. So let's just go back to the way that things used to be really quick. So it used to be that, you get your hair colored, cut, and then the hairstylist just blow dries the hair and, blows it out, smooths it, looks great. You can wear that for maybe a couple days, 3 or 4 days. You can wear that style. And, clients they've always said, man, I love it when you blow dry my hair and it smells so good for days and it just lasts and I can't do it like that. And I just love it. I love getting my hair done. And a lot of it has to do with, of course, the color, you need to get your color done, but it's like, it feels so good. It looks so good afterwards. And that's honestly, if you think about that, that is a value. That part of it is valuable too. The color service, having somebody do your color and keep it the way that you like it and do it right and have you feeling good about your hair color. Yeah. That's really important. But that blow dry service, hey, that was like, really, if you think about it, that was like an added bonus that everybody's been getting for decades. And, it's just been kind of assumed that it's included. And so now I'm seeing a lot of consumers, a lot of clients on, and they're going like, this is ridiculous. This should be included. And then I think to myself, okay, I understand. It's a leap. It's something we're not used to. But when you say it should be included, I think we have to think about that a little bit differently. The way that I think about it and how I came to the decision to begin charging for my blow dry services was because I've been in this industry for 30 years. And when you think about how long it takes to do a blowout for someone, if your hair is long, it could take 30, 40 minutes. And when you think of the repetitive motion that happens when you are stretching and pulling and smoothing and styling long hair, then you realize that you have day in and day out spent 30 minutes here, 40 minutes here, and you haven't gotten paid for it. And so if you do that, say 4 or 5 times a day, and you take that and you multiply that over so many years, 10, 20 years, the figure is astronomical when it comes to how much revenue someone is losing. And you say, well, everything else is so expensive. The whole service is so expensive. That should be included. The rest of the service has traditionally only covered the cost of product and what it takes to actually provide hair styling and hair cutting and hair coloring services to a client without operating at a loss. There's a lot of overhead for a stylist and for a salon. So it's not just how much does that tube of color cost or how much time is the stylist putting into it. It is all of the things on top of that. So yes, it is expensive to get your color done as it is. But truly, the blow dry has not been rolled into that cost. It's just been a complimentary service for decades, and people got used to it. So now, when people got used to it, the school of thought is that should be included, when in reality, it probably never should have been included. It always should have been charged for. It's just that we're kind of riding the ship right now. And I know if you're a consumer or you're a customer, you're just like, this is just, it's ridiculous. It just, I mean, getting your hair done, just like you just, I know you got to go back to like, it's crazy. It just, some of what these hairstylists are charging is astronomical. But when I tell you that there are so many things that go into providing the service, and there is not another job in the world where an employer would say to someone, hey, we're going to take maybe, I don't know, let's say a blow dry takes 30 minutes. All right. Say we're going to take 2 hours out of your pay every single day, 5 days a week or however many days that you work. You think about that. You think about how many people would go for that. How many people would sign up for that? There's a lot that people don't really understand about the way that stylists operates and a salon operates. And so from the outside looking in, it can seem very unreasonable. And I completely acknowledge that. I can understand that. I don't know how a lot of other businesses run, obviously. And so, it's like when other types of businesses raise their prices or they begin charging for something that's traditionally been free, we all just kind of accept it. I mean, look at some of the apps out there. There's different apps that used to be free. And now there's some content, say a podcast. Let's take a podcast. So most podcasts are free, but once they start to do well and they churn out content and it's valuable to people and they are offering something that takes a lot of footwork, a lot of, time and labor and thought, and it takes all of this effort to go into it. Some podcasts will start to put some content behind a paywall. So that's where you have something like Patreon comes in, where now, you can get some stuff still for free, but other content is put behind a paywall. And you'll have different apps that used to be free. I mean, I've got different editing apps that I used for social media that used to be free. Now you have to pay for them. Now they have upgrades. Anytime you go to the grocery store, and they have gone up on something. I mean, there's just inflation all over the place. And nobody bats an eye at this stuff. I remember back when, here's an example. This is how old I am. I remember when bottled water first came out. Okay, water traditionally in my life was basically free. I mean, yes, you had a water bill, but you get water out of a tap, you get water from a public fountain, and it's free, basically free. Once they started to bottle water and sell it, that seemed like the most ridiculous concept in the world. I thought to myself, who would pay $1 for water? Water's free. It's almost like saying, we're going to start charging you for air. It was almost that ridiculous. And it seemed absurd. So, now everything is kind of like that. It's like, things that used to be free, now there's a charge for it. Now there's value placed on it and people are paying for it. But in our world, in the beauty industry, this blow dry thing has got some people really bothered. And people are not seeing that, yes, it used to be complimentary. That probably never needed to be complimentary. Actually, it probably always should have been an additional charge. Now, I will say this. I work in a salon where I have an assistant. And actually, in the salon where I work, we run on a business model called the Summit system. Summit has a complete framework for stylist and salon success. And within this, there's an educational wing or an educational component for training. So part of that, the education part, is where you have like an apprentice or an assistant. So we call the assistant or the apprentice an associate. So in the salon, I have an associate. Traditionally, my blow dry was always complimentary. Recently, we started to see where stylists are starting to charge for blow dries, and I have been an adopter of that practice. I can still offer a complimentary blow dry because my associate could blow dry their hair. That's just a luxury that I have. Some people may not have an associate, but for me and for those who do, it still could be offered complimentary. And the reason why I do that is because A, it allows for the associate to get their practice down. It allows for the client to still get a blowout and have it complimentary, but it doesn't take up my time or take me away from another client who I may be applying color to or doing a cut, that sort of thing. So it works really nicely for us where there is an assistant or an associate available. But it's just a discussion that each individual person really needs to have with their clients on a case by case basis and work with them and explain to them. I think that people feel that people aren't going to understand, but it's only when we do stuff that's kind of shady or we try to avoid the conversation or, we don't want to talk about it and we just kind of like slide it in and then there's like sticker shock. I mean, you don't want to do any of that. You want to be very authentic and say, hey, if this ends up that it's not going to work for you at all, first of all, let's try to find a compromise. I did the best that I could to have a very authentic and upfront conversation with my clients about it face to face. This was not an announcement on social media. This was not a newsletter or a blanket text that went out to everybody. I mean, I wanted to have the respect of talking to each person individually to explain to them why I would be charging for a blow dry. And then I started out at a smaller fee. And then I started to stair step it up. And I let them know that we would be going into this gradually. And I told them that at the beginning, this would be coming on board and it would be within like the next 2 to 3 visits. So I gave them like 2 visits before they could expect to be charged for the blow dry. Now, even with that, my associate could blow dry your hair, which a lot of my clients, they're going to like the way I do it. They're actually going to want for me to do it. And they're actually going to want to pay for the blow dry service that I would provide. Some of my clients, they don't mind if my associate does their blowout. They'd rather just have the complimentary blowout, get their hair done, and it still looks good when my associate does it. But there is a definite difference between my 30 years experience and the 12 to 18 months experience that my assistant or my associate would have. So I am able to produce a more polished finish many times for my clients. And that does make a difference. Maybe the longevity of the blowout, maybe it has to do with how well their hair is styled afterwards, according to the way that they really like to wear it. How smooth can you get it? How voluminous can you get it? Like, I have certain skills that have been honed over several decades now that someone coming out of school wouldn't have. So there is value in that 30 minutes that I would spend with someone. And to me, it is worth paying for. It's something that is a skill that cannot be reproduced by the client themselves the same way that I would do it. Yet there's still an option with my assistant or my associate. And then we also have another option where there is this thing called a hooded dryer or a lamp. People can do a wash and go. It's not like they have to leave in the dead of winter with their hair sopping wet. They could sit under a dryer, or you can set up a blow dry station where someone can blow dry their hair. Now, I've seen clients saying, oh, they're saying I can blow dry my own hair. What do I do when I come to the salon? I shouldn't be having to do my hair. The stylist should be doing my hair. That's right. That's right. But if that's the experience that you're looking for, of course, the stylist will blow dry your hair. But I think it's really important that we have to understand that just because something has always been a certain way doesn't mean that it necessarily should be that way. And that's really the conversation that I wanted to come on and just explain, because I see a lot of people that are really pissed about it. And so I thought this might be a good episode to discuss, because it's, if you ever wondered about it, or if you're a consumer or you're a customer and you're going to the salon, you've started to notice this and you've been irritated by it, or you just didn't understand why, then I hope that it has helped to shed some light on why that could be happening right now. I know things are just crazy though, expensive wise. Like the world is just, it's so hard. Everything is hard and it's getting so expensive just to live. It does seem like a pile on. I get it. But, stylists, we work really hard. We do everything we possibly can to bend over backwards and make our clients happy. We love you guys, and, we want to do a good job. We do want to see the color finished and blown out and looking beautiful. Yeah, that is satisfying for us. We do want to see that. That is kind of the magic moment, of course, but we can't be doing it free of charge anymore. I just got to tell you, I'm sorry. We just can't be doing it. We can't be doing it. Now, there may be stylists out there still. If you're a stylist out there and you're like, well, this is bullshit, I think it still should be included with it. And I think that is great, because to each their own. Like, we all just need to run our business the way we see fit. But just giving that point of view as to why this is happening. And what I don't like so much is, you see a lot of stylists that are super defensive on Instagram and on TikTok, and they're making these videos, and it's kind of like you're schooling the client. Like, here's how it is and blah, blah, blah. Like you don't understand. Well, no, you don't understand, but I don't understand somebody else's business. I don't know what it takes to run any other type of business. I only understand my own. So nobody really understands what it takes to to be in a different industry. I mean, really, none of us do. So that's why I think that we have to just be kind, and we have to communicate like adults with our clients, because it's really important to have that good rapport. And I think if you're a client, you're going to respect your hairstylist if they come to you and say, listen, if this doesn't work for you, I get it. Let's find a compromise. The compromise could be, again, maybe an assistant does it. Maybe they just sit under a heated dryer. Maybe they do it themselves. Or maybe you give them a little bit of a heads up, and you give them several appointments to come where you're not implementing the charge, and maybe you step it up. There's a million different things. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for your client, you can say, look, I totally get it. I totally get it. Let me see if I can help you find someone that would work better for you, and no hard feelings, right? Love you. Please, if I see you out, don't act like you don't know me. There is no hard feelings. I think we all just prioritize the things that are important to us, and we have to make those decisions. Did I lose some clients? Very few. I think I might have lost maybe only one or two out of my clientele. So to me, that was pretty good. And not mad about that. I understand it it's not worth it for everybody. And just because it's not worth it for somebody doesn't mean that we're not worth it as stylists. I think during COVID was like it arose this way of thinking, like this whole movement of charge your worth, charge your worth. That's all we heard. And COVID was like, hairstylists were like rising up, like pissed, like, we've had some time to like sit and think about this now, where we realize we've been working so hard for so long. And now here, even during COVID, we're still trying to like pour in and make this content and do all this stuff. And we started thinking, we need to start charging our worth. We need to start that just exploded to the point that I think it was pretty off-putting on social media. And I think clients almost started to turn against us a little bit, like, whoa, 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 hold on. Like, who the hell do you think you are? I mean, yeah, we think we're worth it. Of course we think we're worth it. And we know what went into being able to get to where we are now. But it may not be worth it for somebody else. And that's okay. That doesn't take away from our value as a stylist. And this whole well, if you can't afford it, then I'm just not the stylist for you. Well, I mean, that's true, but you can still be kind. We can still want the best for people, and we can still try to work with people. And how about coming up with solutions? Us as stylists, how about we come up with solutions or compromises or ways that we can work with our clients instead of just being like, oh, this is it. This is my policy, posting these policies on social media, putting up all of this fine print and in our booking apps. And I think people have gotten so saturated with having to jump through all these hoops just to work with a stylist. And then on top of that, like all of this stuff I think has just rolled into one big ball. And then now you've got this blow dry charge. And I think that people have just kind of like been sent over the edge with this whole thing. I totally get it. I would just invite us as stylists to take a step back. Let's put ourselves in our clients' shoes and let's be a consumer for a second, because we also don't understand what it takes to be in a different industry. We don't know all the behind the scenes or what it takes to bring a certain service or a certain product to market. So I think we just have to have a little bit of grace. We need to have some communication and some understanding, not take things personally, and understand that people have choices to make. This is their livelihood. And I think we just have to be kind. So I am starting to see that you're seeing less and less of defensive stylists on social media, just like schooling clients, making fun of clients, like kind of just being bad. It wasn't good. Some of that stuff was really cringy, and I'm glad that it's over. It's not completely over, but it's definitely, I definitely think it's seen its day. And I'm glad about that. I want us to get back to a point where, we're seen as a support, as a safe space, as a respite and a place of rest, and a place that clients can come and, talk to us and not feel weird about anything, not feel like they're doing something wrong or that they have to feel anxious in any way. I think that if we can just try to be a little bit more understanding, work on our communication, be very transparent, very clear, and just explain to people on a really authentic level, like, here's the deal, then I think that's going to go a long way. We just have to be real people. We just need to be real people. I do hope that has given you some perspective, whether you're a stylist or you're a client. If you have seen this coming down the pipeline and you're like, what the hell is going on? Why am I being charged for a blow dry? It should be free. Hopefully this has given you a little bit of insight into like what's going on behind the scenes with this. So that's really all I have for you today. Even though I had to record this again, I'm glad I had a chance to, because I do enjoy being here with you, and I'm so glad that you listen. It's been a little bit odd lately with the podcast. The podcast, I think, we're into like 25 episodes, maybe 27 episodes. And I don't know, if you ever start something and it's like, you're like all about it. And I'm notorious. I think creatives are notorious for this. If you're creative, you probably understand. You just like all in on something. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to set the world on fire with this. This is going to be great. And, like I was like, I'm going to do this weekly. I'm going to have all these guests. And I have had some amazing guests. Let me just say, at the beginning, I needed a lot of work. I still need a lot of work. This is not a fancy podcast. There is no production going on whatsoever here. It's basically me behind this little microphone here and my laptop. That is it. Me just talking to you on a real level. But if you go back to the first ones, I really needed some work. I mean, we've improved some since then, I think. But it's been tough lately with this podcast, because I'm in a weird place of like, where am I taking this thing? What am I doing with this? It's called Lessons from Your Hairstylist. But I have all these guests on, I just have like people on just like for all different reasons. And it's meant to be inspirational. It's meant to equip you. Like, one of the things I love to do, and one of my favorite things about my job, is that I get to encourage people on a regular basis every day behind the chair. I like to prop people up. I like to make them see their own beauty and their unique characteristics that really set them apart. And I like to I like to show them their beauty. And I like to talk about the stuff where we share resources and, I'm sharing a podcast with you or a book, or you're telling me about, this great coffee shop over here that we have, this new restaurant, or, like we're just sharing information. That's what I'm doing here. I think this is such a, I'm probably not even going to take all the ums and ahs out of this, because I really just kind of want this to be like real. And I know it's hard to listen to sometimes when there's a whole bunch of pauses and there's a lot of filler. I've been trying to take that out in the past, but the editing process is a lot. It's a lot. It really is. And I don't want to dread this. I want to continue doing this and truly enjoying it and feeling like I'm making a real, honest, authentic connection. So I don't know. It might start looking a little bit different going forward. We'll see how it goes. You might like it. You might not. But I would encourage you to go back to what I was saying. There's been some amazing guests. I want to share with you some of the people that I have met along the way up until this episode. And I think, when I think back on interviewing everybody from somebody who has changed their career path, like later in life, like in their late 40s, early 50s, somebody who went from being a hairstylist to a realtor, and she's just like setting the world on fire. Like she's just killing it. Courtney, amazing. Go back and listen to her. Everybody from her to, Amanda, celebrity hairstylist here. Like she's just such an amazing businesswoman. She's a mom, a wife. She is just an incredible person, and her story is just, it's so interesting. I would just encourage you to go back, listen to Amanda. Hey, listen, I interviewed my therapist even. I mean, we did that. We did that. Just recently had someone on the podcast who literally survived. They are 9 years out from pancreatic cancer. Like, I've had some phenomenal people on this podcast. Oh, go back and listen to All Gravy Baby. You got to listen to her. Like, she has been going through the gray transition. She is in the middle of the transition. Her hair is really long and she's growing out her gray. Like, that was a great one. I've had personal stylists. I've had fitness experts. Like, we've had so many amazing, interesting people. So if you haven't listened to some of the past podcasts, go back and listen to some of those, because I know you're going to get some inspiration, and I know you're going to like really take away from some of those people. Just fascinating people. I'm so lucky and excited that I've been able to have them on. But yeah, just invite you to go back and do a deep dive into some of the earlier episodes. And that's basically all I've got today. I just wanted to hop on and rant about that subject that I've seen come up on Instagram and TikTok and all over the place. But I hope that shed some light. I hope you've enjoyed being here with me. I know I've rambled on, but it was kind of a good conversation and I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. And I hope I'll see you back on the next episode of the Lessons from the Hairstylist podcast. Until then, take care. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Lessons from Your Hairstylist. I hope you found inspiration and actionable insights to embrace your unique beauty and elevate your life. Remember, it's all about taking small steps towards a happier, healthier you. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might benefit from it. Together, let's continue unlocking the secrets to living beautifully fulfilled. Until our next appointment, keep your thoughts on your visions, your self-talk kind, and remember to keep your heart open so you don't miss any opportunities waiting for you out there. I'll see you on the next one.